All right, fellas, this is an explanation of our Ajax play, which is essentially just a switch, but our call is Ajax because everybody knows what a switch means. On this play, essentially what we're doing is we're having our first receiver, as even before the ball is in the air, he needs to begin running this direction, okay? It's really important that he gets outside his guy and attacks this player. And depending on his preference and what makes sense, he could run straight at this guy, he could run slightly to his outside or slightly to his inside. All are potentially correct depending on where this guy's lined up and what he does. But so I'll just leave it at that, okay? But he has got to run at this guy and get outside his man, okay? When this play is called, this is a standard formation with the 2 at good depth and width, kind of normal depth and width from the 1, and the 3 outside him like this, but shallower, and the 4 kind of even with the 3. These guys can pretty much stay where they are when the Ajax is called, but I would advise the 2 to kind of drift out and get a little bit more shallow than he normally would be. And as the 1 is running out, we want this 2, it depends on how much time he has. He could start forward and then angle, or if there's not a lot of time, he could go straight for the angle. But essentially, as the 1 is going this way, he's angling this way. And what we want to see is at the moment that the 1 gets to kind of the decisive moment where it's either run or pass, and he's got to do it at that moment, decide. At that decisive moment, we want the 2 to be stacked straight behind the 1, and we want the 3 to be here-ish. Well, actually, he could do 2 different things. He, depending on what this defender is doing, he could be running a hard inline here to attack this gap, okay? Or he could be holding his depth and width here to get a deeper pass with enough time for the 4. And those are both good options depending on what the defenders are doing. I'll just leave it at that for now, okay? But at this decisive moment when the 1 is here and he's running this direction, he's got the option to pop the pass, float the pass in front of this guy for him to take it there. He's got the option to dummy and then to take the ball himself, and he's got the option to hit the 3. So 3 different options, run or pass, okay? And then basically what we want to see from the different things that the defense could do, okay? So let's say this defender, option 1, let's say this defender is slow. He's here, he's lazy, and he has only gotten to here. He thinks when the 1 starts running away from him that his job's kind of done and he's lazy. Then when the switch happens, we want the 2 to get the ball and he's through this gap, okay? Or maybe this guy's just kind of a weak defender and we think our 2 can run him over, and that's also a good option for a switch, okay? Option 2, oh my gosh. Option 2, another option, sorry, this one get me. Another option is that this defender has worked really hard and he's tracking the 1, okay? And this defender isn't seeing the switch. They aren't calling the switch, so this defender's staying here and kind of being pushed out by the push to cover kind of the 3. And they're both pushing out this way, in which case there should still be a gap here. This other defender is late. And so same thing, the 2. So that's basically either, if we go back to our original position where we had a D, and a defender on the first receiver, if this guy is either slow and lazy or fast and overeager, both are good options for the switch, okay? Similarly, I guess I'll leave it at that, okay. And then next, for the 1 to take the ball, if this guy gets in 2 minds, he either thinks he needs to go for the switch player or he thinks he needs to bump out and mark the 3. Okay, maybe this guy is calling him to push so that this guy can get to the 1, and this guy pushes out so that he can get to the 3. But then this guy actually sees the 2 coming, so he stops to cover the 2, and this guy pushes to cover the 3. Then the 1 himself could go through. Okay, that's a good option. And then kind of last, the thing that the defense should do, like if we're defending the switch, the thing that we want to do. At this moment, when the 2 is running the switch here and the 1 is running here, what we want these defenders to do, he was marked on the 1 and he was marked on the 2, but now they should switch. This guy should sit down right there in front of the 2, and this guy should cover the 1, okay? And that's the right call for the defense. That's what they should do. And if they're a good defense, that's what they will do. We can still run the switch if we think our guy can run this guy over. This guy can still carry the ball into contact, but the third option then is often the best option. Where our 1, once these 2 guys get sucked in, hits the 3, and the 3 has space to attack. Either he's running this hard inline, or he receives the ball at depth and attacks with a 4. And we could potentially have a 2v1. Oftentimes, if you have a 3v2, this is a great play to ensure you get the 2v1. Okay, with these guys both running hard, it makes these defenders really sit down. When this guy gets the ball, the drift is not on, and these guys, as long as they attack well, they get their 2v1. So this is a great play. This is a great play if we have a 4v3. Okay, so let's quickly point out who could be running this play. All right. Option 1, we could have scoot my camera. We could have a scrum here. Okay, if this is a scrum, we could have maybe our 10, 12, 13, and 14 running this play. Okay, that could be one option. And they should all, in this situation, the 10 is running this line, the 12 is running the switch line, the 13 needs to know either to hit the gap hard at a fast inline or to hold his depth if that's not on, and so that the ball can come wide. If the 13 isn't sure, holding his depth is the kind of more obvious playing option, and hitting the gap if it seems like it's on is the B option. This could also be our C channel attack. We could be attacking in the C channel off a ruck, where our forward pod is here, and C channel, so 15 is our first receiver here. C channel, so 12 is our second guy. C channel, so 6 is our third guy, and 14 is this guy. Okay, in which case the 15 is running this line, the 12 is running this line, the 6 is here kind of holding his depth to get that pass or crashing, and the 14. Okay, so those are 2 different options. Awesome. Switch. Ajax.